Hey everybody, welcome back to another How to Learn Python tutorial video. Today we're going to be talking about conditionals. So conditionals are a way for you to run sections of your code if certain scenarios are met. This allows your code to be dynamic and change depending on the state of your system. So the main conditionals you'll see are the if, the elif, which is short for else if, and the else statements. So let's start by looking at the if statement. To make an if statement, you just type if followed by some expression, and this expression needs to evaluate to a Boolean value. It's what the if statement checks. So we're actually just going to put in the Boolean value true here. Then you put a semicolon, and then on the next line, you write the code you want to run if the if statement evaluates to true. So we're going to print in the if statement. You'll notice that it indents all this code that's under the if statement. This allows you to see what code is actually in the if statement and what code is outside of it. So if we run this, we'll see that we get in the if statement. So now generally with an if statement, you'll see an else statement. An else statement looks very similar, however, it does not have an expression that it evaluates. This is because an else statement needs a corresponding if statement. And the else statement only runs if the if statement evaluates to false. So we change this to false and add some code to run here. So in the else statement, we should see that it skips over the if statement code and jumps right to our else statement. And there we are in the else statement. So now let's make this a little trickier and use some of the comparators we learned in the last video. So if we create a number and set it equal to 10, we can use a comparator as our expression instead of a straight Boolean value. So now we'll say if num is greater than 5. So what do you guys think is going to happen? Well, we're setting our num equal to 10, and 10 is greater than 5. So our expression num greater than 5 will evaluate to true, and it'll print what's inside the if statement. So if we save and run this, we can see we are in the if statement. So finally, we have one more conditional to talk about, and that's the elif statement. The elif statement works exactly the same as the if statement. The only difference here is an elif statement needs to follow an if statement. Therefore, the elif statement only gets checked if the if statement is false. So we'll add an elif statement here that says elif num greater than 5. And we'll actually change our if statement to be num greater than 15. We'll add some code to run. All right, in the elif statement. So what do you guys think is going to happen here? Well, we set our num equal to 10, and then we check whether 10 is greater than 15. Well, 10 is not greater than 15, so this evaluates to false, and it skips over the if statement. So then it checks the elif statement. So it checks if num is greater than 5. Well, our num hasn't changed, it's still 10, and 10 is greater than 5. So this then returns true. Since this is true, we'll jump into the elif code and print in the elif statement. So if we save this and run it, there you see we're in the elif statement. So you can tack on as many elif statements as you want, but you can only have one if and one else for an if-else block. All right, guys, well, we talked about if, elif, and else statements in this video. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. All right, guys, I hope you learned something. Peace.